A very good afternoon to all of you. I, Dr. Sanjib Pattnaik, I welcome all of you to this particular course of IGNO that has been coded as MMPO-003, and the course title is Operations Management. It comes under the ambit of operations. So basically, in this first block, we'll be looking at the various aspects of operations management. That means what it tries to do, how it has been developed, what are the possible outcomes through a better operations management. So, these are all the things which we shall be discussing in total in block 1, the first block. Today, we shall focus on operations management, an introduction to the particular subject. So that is unit 1. Before starting anything, I ask all of you, uh, just look around. You will be finding a host of things. Suppose you are watching this particular telecast through a smartphone or through a computer, or electricity lights inside the room where you are sitting, etc. etc. Immediately, when we ask what are those things, we say products. Similarly, think about, suppose we go to a hospital. So there will be finding patients will be coming and they will be getting treatment. Products in form of medicine, facilities like hospital, uh, various rooms, etc. They are all products. But the patient, when he or she is getting cured, we say that he has or she has received healthcare services. So here, when we are talking of operations management, our focus moves towards the products and services. So as we move on, we shall see what are these products and services, why operations management, which are the backbone of generating these products or services, are very vital to any organization's sustainable success. So let us begin with the introduction to the topic, that is operations management. Simply speaking, we can say operations deal with a particular conversion process. That means transforming inputs or a set of inputs into a desired output. Now, for that, we require a conversion process. For products, that can be machineries, factories, facilities, etc. Similarly, for services like, just now we are talking about healthcare, we can talk about the inclusion of doctors, hospital facilities, etc., which form the vital backbone of curing a patient. So, those are services. Now, when we say operations management, the term management is attached along with operations. What is that? Now, it is nothing but managing various resources. When we say resources, think about a product that may be requiring raw material, that may be requiring human workers, that may be requiring logistics, etc. So, how to manage these various resources for our operations? Secondly, managing the activities. Now, we cannot say that having the inputs, we can get the outputs immediately or as we are desiring. For that, various activities are needed, and those activities have to be managed. Like in healthcare system, maybe operations, maybe internal checkup of human body, etc. In case of products, we may say that it may include activities like uh, physically carrying the raw materials, putting it in the machineries, running machineries, etc. Then managing the processes. Now, process is the particular central area which converts the inputs into outputs. For products, basically we require machineries, etc. But for services like healthcare, we require the skills of the doctor, the things of the hospital like medicine, hygiene, uh, safety, etc. And finally, the procedures. What are the procedures we are going to adapt so that we can have our outputs from a given set of inputs? Now, at this present juncture, operation management is vital for all organization as it helps in sustaining in the long run. For that, the reduction in waste and quality improvement are a continuous thing that has to be adopted by the organizations. And nowadays we are using not only computer but also robots or robotics as well as artificial intelligence which streamline the operation management and increases the efficiency. That means producing the best quality output from a lower cost, so that can be done through the use of computers. Day by day, we are having sophisticated production control techniques. We know that in order to sustain in the long run, we cannot pass on anything that is being produced to the customers. Customers are those who are the persons for whom an organization has been established in order to satisfy the customer requirements. So you cannot push any kind of outputs to the customer. If it is good, well and all right. But if it is not up to the mark, then you may feel rejection in the marketplace. So, more and more sophisticated production control techniques are cropping up day by day. Use of statistics, use of computers, use of artificial intelligence, are helping in production control of the organization. Lastly, we can say operations management, that means properly handling the given set of inputs and processing them through a conversion system, and whatever is the output that is passed on to the market should be accepted by the customers. Unless there is acceptance, our products will not sell in the market and we may not be able to sustain in the competitive cutthroat business world. Nowadays, we are finding not only companies are thinking about their own geographical region or the country where they are established. They are thinking on a global scale. Now, when you are thinking of global scale, you have to cater to the needs of various communities, various requirements, etc. So, operation management will help in globalization. Now, when we are talking of operations management, what we mean by that? Simply saying, it is the conversion of inputs to outputs. What will happen? Now, earlier we are putting the inputs, whatever are the outputs were pushed to the customers, and since their choice was very limited or they didn't have any other options, they had to go for that. But things have changed. The set of inputs nowadays have to be converted into desired output. That means the goods and services of good quality or quality which can be competitive in the market and help the organizations to sustain in the marketplace. Now we are talking of goods and services. Everyone knows what is a good or what is a service because on a day to day basis, every moment we are facing or using or we are looking at various goods or services. Now, if we want to make a differentiation between the goods and services, how can we do that? Now, here you might see I have taken some basis and I will try to divide or differentiate goods from services. What is the thing here? Now, whatever I may be discussing, it may not be the total. Anyone going through this particular course can add on to this particular differentiation process. Suppose when we are talking of, suppose I take an example, we have a classroom in our school days. In class, suppose it is a co-education school, boys and girls will be there. Suppose we divide the boys and girls of the class of a particular class on the basis of gender, then we can have this many number of boys, this many number of girls. Similarly, suppose I'll use a basis the heights below 5 feet, 5 to 5.5 feet, and above 5.5 feet. So here we'll not differentiate the class according to boys or girls. We'll differentiate the whole class or all the students in the particular class according to the three categorization we have made. So basis will form the logic how you are differentiating. So I will be using few bases to differentiate goods and services. Suppose I take a basis, or before that, let me take one example. For goods, let us say I take an example of fan, the ceiling fan, and services, I take education. Now, the first basis is I can take is uh, tangibility. When I am saying tangibility, tangible means anything can be touched, seen, or felt. So, in case of fan, we can see it, we can touch it, we can feel it also. Think about education. We can feel it. Can we touch the education that is being imparted, suppose right now, or in any class during your school or college days? No. So, services do not have the tangible aspect in total. Another basis I can take is dimension measurement. Can I measure the dimensions, that is length, breadth, the circumference of the motor, etc. of a fan? The answer is yes. But for education, it becomes difficult. Nowadays, we are using various kind of rating scales which help to somewhat measure the dimension of services. Another aspect we take is perishability. Suppose perishable means it gets spoiled or not gets spoiled on perishable. Think about agricultural products. Suppose mango. Uh, in the mango season, that means summer days or after summer days, few months, we have plenty of mangoes in the marketplace, in the fruit uh, area, in the fruit shops. We take it home. What we find? We can eat it, but if we keep it as it is, after 2 or 3 days, we find those are getting spoiled. So, here, when we are talking of perishability, goods are not perishable. Suppose fan, we can keep it, but whereas services, they get perishable. Usually, many authors try to differentiate perishability for goods. Anything that gets spoiled within 3 years are perishable. Anything which does not get spoiled within 3 years are unperishable. So, another aspect we can take is quality. Suppose a particular model of fan of a particular company, uh, ceiling fan. Let me take as Bajaj. Model is suppose X100. This is the fan model. Anywhere we purchase, anywhere we get this product, you will find uniform quality. That means length, breadth, measurement, etc. are all same. But in case of education, it will vary from time to time. So quality maintenance in education is very difficult. uh, These are few of the bases on which I am trying to differentiate between goods and services. However, what we can do is we can take this exercise, we can take any example of goods and services and uh, use the basis of your own and try to differentiate between the particular good or services example you have taken. So immediately you will find a clear cut differentiation between goods and services. How nowadays what has happened? We are trying to what we can say standardize. That means the dimensions or the standardization of services. Suppose think about banking service. I want to withdraw cash from a bank. In earlier days, what was happening? I go to a bank, I stand in the queue, and when my turn comes, I encase my requirement and get the cash. Now, here the waiting time may differ, and sometimes biasness will creep in. What we mean by biasness? Now, suppose a bank manager is known to me. Immediately from the line, he will call me. Uh, what is the work you need? Why you have come here? I say, I want to encash the cash. Uh, he may ask one of his subordinates to do the thing immediately. So here biasness will creep in case of services. But think about the services which are given by ATM, automatic teller machines. They provide banking services. You want to withdraw cash, you go to any ATM. The time it will take is same for every customer. It will not differentiate or have any kind of biasness among the customers. So nowadays, what is happening? Companies are standardizing the services. You can take many examples like this: food joints, like McDonald's, like Domino's Pizzas, etc. The food services here are mostly standardized. Ice cream parlors, Many times you'll be finding ice cream vending machines are there, and they will vend according to your requirement in a particular time. They will not differentiate or have any kind of biasness among the customers. So we say now the time has come for standardization of services, which also we are finding in many of the services. In earlier days, services was not having so much importance in the business world. Business world was mainly consisting of the production of goods or products. Now, here the inputs, physical inputs are converted by conversion system, that means machines, and they are uh, getting an output in form of products or goods. But as we have moved on in the last few years, 20, 30 years, what has happened? The world scenario, business scenario has changed. More and more service facilities are coming up in every sphere. Services like education, like healthcare, like food, etc. etc. So, in the earlier days, when the production was or the conversion of inputs into outputs was only products, we use the term production management. But as we just now discussed, in the last few years, 20, 30 years, you may say, or 40 years, services also have become an output from a given set of inputs. For that also you require a conversion system. Like suppose bank. What are the inputs? The human capital. Investment will be there. Uh, Investment for facilities, etc. Facilities like building, like equipments, computers, etc. Now, in the conversion system, what is our requirement is transformed through the banking system. And what are the desired output? We may get a fixed deposit. We may get a encashment of check. We may transfer money. So in earlier days when the output was only product, we are saying the term production management. But now it has been seen as the outputs are not only products but also services. So we cannot say production of services. For that, we say operations. Operations, that means the transformation process that will generate desired goods and services out of a given set of inputs. So now the term operation management is used. So our whole basic course is on this operation management. Uh, Let us look at the nature of operation management. Now, under traditional management, uh, we also define management as planning, organizing, directing, and controlling to get things done. Everyone agrees with that. Yes, we have to plan. According to the plan, we have to organize the various resources like raw materials, like human resources, like various utilities, like various facilities, etc. Uh, Once they are organized, then we try to move in the path of our plans. For that, necessary directions are needed to be provided. And finally, when things are going on, we need regular checkups or regular assessment whether the actual things are going as per the plans or not. If there is a gap and that is negative, that means we are lagging behind the plans, then we should control the activities. Why the thing has happened, how it can be rectified, how we can do better so that that problem will not crop up in the future. So that is what traditional management said to us: planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. However, as the time has passed by, we look at how present management is going on. So, promoting organizations' long term plans. Every organization has a vision, mission, and accordingly they frame their plans. So these plans have to be promoted in the various divisions, in the various sections, among the various workforce, among various executives in the organization. Everyone should be uh, acquainted with what is the long term requirement or plan of the organization. Then, accordingly, we take appropriate decision. That means, according to the plan, what kind of facilities are needed, what are the type of human resources we require, uh, what are the investment required, what are the various kind of machineries we should put in, what are the various utilities we should bring in. All these things we have to decide. And the present management focuses on maximizing productivity. Now, when we say productivity, it is a mathematical measure between inputs and outputs. We said the operations is conversion of a given set of inputs into desired outputs. Now, if we can increase the level of outputs, goods and services without hampering the quality or the desired quality by using the same set of inputs or same level of inputs, then we say our productivity has increased. Or, in other words, we are reducing our wastages, or we are better in use of various kind of resources. So, present management focuses on maximizing productivity. And lastly, present management, it is very, we can say, everyone has experienced this. Let us take a small example of smartphones. Every now and then you will be finding more and more new features are coming up in the smartphones. So, whatever are the facilities, whatever are our workforce, whatever are our technical expertise, all things should be adaptable to the various changes that is happening in the marketplace or the customers' requirements. Now, in what areas operation management is beneficial or what are the scope of operation management? First thing we talk about is the facility and location. Uh, think about we are going to uh, suppose set up a bakery industry, bakery which is producing the breads, the biscuits, etc. Where should we generally locate it? Should it be located far off from the city or the where major chunk of population is living? The answer is no. We have to search for such a place which is nearby to the locality where most of the population is residing, because our products will be used by them and it is difficult to store these products unless it is used within a given period, suppose a fortnight. Now, when we are talking of location, we say the bakery industry should be near to the city or in the city, but the cost of land will be higher, regulations will be there. So, all these aspects will be taken into consideration in choosing the location of the bakery unit. Once you decide on where to set up the bakery or the industry, then we think about what are the facilities we are going to create, whether it is the machineries, the buildings, the warehouse, the inventory house, etc. Then we move on to product selection. We know that for each type of goods, we have different categories. Suppose a watch we want to purchase. Um, the watchmakers here will be looking at what segment of customers they should be focusing on, because customers will be there who require watches above costing above rupees 1 lakh. People are there who require watches within a range of 20 to 20,000 rupees to 1 lakh. Or also we have segments where people would be looking for watches which is within 20,000 rupees. So we have to choose our product according to our plans, according to our vision. What segment of customers we are going to cater to. Accordingly, we'll choose the product. Next scope of operation management in the is the process selection. Uh, here we can say, suppose iron and steel plants. You'll be finding various type of different production processes are there which can be adapted for the plant to be set up. So here the question mark comes, what kind of process we shall be selecting? We shall be selecting that kind of process for which resources like raw materials are available easily. Resources like human resources are easily available, having the capability and technical expertise. We shall be choosing for technological know-how which will be adaptable to the country, etc. Next, we look at the inventory and material handling. When we are talking of inventory, we talk of those items which are stored for future use. Now, here inventories can be categorized into various types, like suppose raw materials. Another can be work in progress or semi finished items. That means the items which are still in the pipeline of the production yet to be completed. We can also have finished goods which are ready for sales or to be moved to various shop counters for customers to purchase. So, inventory management is one of the important aspect or scope where operation management plays a vital role. Apart from that, we also have material handling. That means how the materials are moved inside the facilities. That means starting from the supplier to the inventory godowns, that means raw material godowns, to the processing area. Then finally, the outputs are to be stored and moved on to the marketplace. So, this has to be carefully looked at. Nowadays, we know that if we don't maintain quality, we will not sustain in the marketplace, because every company, every organization, every business house are competing fiercely with each other. The more the quality items we can send to the customers, they will be easily accepted. So, quality management is also very important. Who produces the thing? Who converts the thing? Who uses the inputs to change them into a given set of outputs? Now, it is the workers, or the way the things are done. The way the things are done is called as, if we try to analyze, we call it as work study. So, work study focuses on what is the best possible way that can be provided to the worker so that they can work in a better environment, leading to better quality items and productivity. When we use facilities, be it for producing goods or services, those facilities will be requiring either regular maintenance or breakdown maintenance. Uh, Take for example any vehicle that we are using. Suppose scooter. I am using a scooter. Suppose, what is the regular maintenance there? Now, every 5,000 kilometers, I will be changing the engine oil. I will be uh, cleaning the air filter, etc. Apart from that, sometimes we also face breakdowns. Like on the way we are going, the suppose accelerator wire break gets snapped. So this has to be worked upon or maintained. So operation management comes into the picture. In order to sustain in this practical world, what is happening? We have to constantly develop our outputs along with improvement in qualities. For that, an organization requires lots of research and development. So, operation management provides uh, necessary, we can say, activities for research and development. Now, let us look at operation management, how we can look at as a system. I'll try to draw a diagram of the general systems view of operation management. Uh, I have inputs, I have conversion system, outputs. We are finding this is the basic structure of anything that comes under our operation. A given set of inputs are sent to the conversion system, that means the process which changes the inputs into the desired outputs in forms of goods or services. Now, here the question comes, do we require any checks on this, controlling aspect on this? Inputs, raw materials, human beings. Do I need a control on that? The answer is yes. You should control it. Outputs, goods and services that are being passed on to the customers. Should I have a control or quality check on that? The answer is yes. How our process is working? Do we have a control on that? The answer is yes. So when we look at operation management as a system, this is the basic way. You put any goods or services into this particular diagram and we'll be finding the results. Suppose system. Uh, Let us take, we are producing uh, medicine, a phones, mobile phones. What are the inputs? Now we can have plastic body, we can have chips. When I say chips, it is the microchips, etc. PCBs, HR, etc. etc. Facility, factory, electricity, all are inputs. Now here we go for conversion. What happens? Now physical transformation. So what is the output? Na? Smartphone. And the amount we spend here in inputs is less than outputs. That means we are generating value. Sometimes we say this as value addition. Similarly, let me take one another example. Uh, Let me take education system. What are the inputs? Now buildings, faculty, students, etc. etc. What are the desired output? Na? Uh, we can say uh, educated students. And the conversion process we can say is we are changing the form. That means there is a mental transformation, knowledge transformation. So one from the products I have taken, one from the services, education service I have taken. Uh, all of us can do this exercise. You can put any system, try to visualize what are the inputs, what is the kind of conversion that goes on, and what are the outputs we are getting. And are the outputs generating value for us? Yes, that should be the basic focus. Now, what are the role of operations manager in this present world? Now, whatever are the areas for which we saw operation management is having a scope, those are the areas where operation management a manager will be focusing on. Location, that means where to set up the facility or set up the factory or set up the institute, educational institute. Facility, what kind of buildings we should have, what kind of machinery we should have, etc. Then, looking at the market, we should select what are the products we are going to manufacture, which segment of the market we are going to serve. Then we look at the process. What is the kind of transformation uh, we'll be having, and accordingly what is the kind of machineries or equipments we shall be using, or the technical know-how. Apart from that, we shall be having inventory and material handling, quality management, the work study, maintenance, research and development, as we have discussed in our the scope of operations management. Now, one important thing in operations management or basic thing is productivity. What we mean by productivity? Productivity, when we say, it is nothing but a mathematical measurement, or it is a ratio of output to inputs. Now, here we can say higher is the output for a given level of input. That means we are increasing our productivity, or our productivity has increased. This may be possible due to some of the variables just now we'll be looking at. Uh, this is a ratio between the output and inputs. And here, most of the focus is there without decreasing the quality or harming the environment, etc. So, how we can have better outputs in more or of more levels from a given set of inputs. So, what are the variables that is affecting the productivity? One is education. A educated and technically skilled worker may have better ideas, will be able to produce the goods and services in a better way, etc. Second is diet. Uh, Without having proper health, which is the outcome of proper diet, it is very difficult for a worker to work in the best possible way. So, here we can talk about diet that should be taken care, so that when the workers are healthy, fit, mentally sound, they will be able to have higher productivity. Another important aspect is sanitation part. Many times in the earlier days, what was happening? People were not focusing on the sanitation inside any organization. Or if there are also facility, they were not taken proper care. But nowadays, go to anywhere, you will be having proper sanitation facilities. And if you look around, suppose industries are located in a far off place than the city. It is not possible for employees to travel each and every day and on time to reach the organization. For that, we'll be finding in the morning company buses, company cars will be taking the employees to the particular place. Now, when we are talking of productivity measure, we can have total productivity, where we try to measure it as total output divided by total input. And all these are in rupee terms. Apart from that, Every organization nowadays have to be ethically correct and they should be responsible socially. Societal aspect should be taken care of. Otherwise, customers are nowadays choosing organizations who take care of these two things. So, here we should respect the community obligations. Apart from that, environment is a big factor. We should not damage it, and it has the major concern for every organization, which can be segregated into solid, liquid, atmospheric, and noise pollution. Many laws are coming up to take care of these things. So, with this, we have a view of what we mean by or understand by operation management. We'll meet again with more of discussion in the later classes. Thank you.